I thought it would be fun to talk about love readings. Easily the most popular type of tarot reading. Everyone always wants a love reading. Feelings, what does he think of me? What does she think of me? How's the relationship gonna go? Give me predictions. And actually I think it can be a really good tool to use if you don't overanalyze the cards and pick at them. And I think it's really important to always take things with a grain of salt, particularly when you're dealing with emotions and topics that could be very touchy for you. Like, the last thing you want to see is a load of negative cards in the future position, and the last thing you want to see is a load of negative cards when you're asking what somebody thinks of you. I get that. So I think before even going into this video, I just want to say, if you feel like you could potentially get upset with some answers that the cards can give you, then just put the deck down and read a time when you feel more grounded and secure. I think it's really bad to read in a state of mind that feels insecure, because you can't rely on positive cards to pick you up from that, because they're not going to be your best friend who just tells you what you want to hear. They are going to shine a light on all the areas that could I love how the Tower card shows as I'm saying that. Shine a light on all the areas that you could be fearing about and worried about, and it could even pick up on your own emotions. If you're I've done this myself. I've literally cried while asking a question and pulling a card, and I used to get the Queen of Cups every time I did that, and it was basically saying like, you're being over emotional. So just remember, your own emotions can reflect sometimes in the reading. But I thought it would be really fun to sit with you guys and encourage you to get your decks out. If you've got a little deck near you, whip it out right now and we can shuffle together and do a love reading. It takes practice, I get that, and if it's frustrating to try and read for yourself all the time but not feeling like you've got proper answers, then A, keep practicing, keep pulling, practice, and B, you're welcome to get a reading from me if you want one. I am specifically doing love readings this month because of Valentine's Day. So if you have any questions about your love life, if you want to know any future stuff to do with your love life, contact me on any of my social medias. You can DM me, you can email me. But if you feel confident enough to do it yourself, you don't need me, you just need you, yourself, and your cards. So get them out right now and give them a good old shuffle. I thought this is such a simple, fun way to get inside somebody's mind. And with that in mind, remember that you don't have access to all of the context and information that maybe you wish to. So it's easy to jump to conclusions when you ask what somebody feels about you, and then you get a card and you're like, they think I'm what? But you need to remember like how long someone's known you for. They might have the wrong idea, someone might have told them something. There's always context and information behind the stuff that the cards will tell you. I mean, you could keep pulling to get that information to find out why they think these things about you. But if you're learning, it's hard to read complex information and specific information about the details behind why somebody has certain feelings about you. Like I said, if you're going to get emotional and touchy when you read a certain thing about somebody who you care about, then it's probably best you just straight up ask them. It's Valentine's Day, send them a freaking letter and be like, do you like me? I like you. Should we hang out? However, I think this activity is just as important to do with friends, family, husbands, people you've been with for years, wives, like just to be like, you know, what do they think about me? And it's quite a good tool to use when it comes to working on your, what's the word? Self-awareness, I guess. Perhaps someone thinks you're not cooperative. You can maybe work on why that might be, and maybe you can do some self-improvement work, etc. So I love doing things like this. It's a really fun activity to take part in. So what I usually like to do when I'm asking a new question on a new topic, or I just sit down like as a fresh start with my cards, or I read for a new person, I just go knock on the deck. That's like my fresh slate, and it's like kind of waking the deck up as well. And then I will shuffle. So what I will usually do is think of my question, and that's what I want you to do as well watching this video. Think of or speak out loud your question, and in this case it's, what are his feelings for me? And keep the person obviously in mind who you're talking about. You could even say their name, so I could be like, what does Adam feel about me? Oh, I'm gonna expose him. And then just shuffle. I don't know if you want to cut the deck, which basically means you stop shuffling when you feel ready, putting it on the table, cutting. This is hard to do, so where you can see cutting once, and then with this deck cutting twice, and then with the middle deck you've got the card on top. That's the most popular. Oh, I like that. 6 of Wands. He thinks I'm successful. Yes. He wants to show me off. He thinks I'm inspiring. Keep it coming, Adam. I did used to cut like that, and I sometimes do when cards don't fall out, but now I just take jumpers, ones that jump out the deck, because I feel like, you know, for them to fall out, they're more meaningful and they're more wanting to be read, wanting to be heard. My cards dropped. Ah. Very fitting. So I would say he sees me as an illusionist. Oh my god, the bottom of the deck, 6 of Wands again. So this is someone who kind of like achieves exactly what it is they want, and without getting into the specifics, because this is my own reading, but this is to kind of help you understand your own card that you just received. Think about the personality of the card that you've got. So I know the Magician as someone who creates their own future, someone who knows what they want and goes to achieve exactly what it is they feel they desire, and they have very clear visions about how they want their future to look, and they make it happen. She gets her magic wand and she puffs it out of nowhere. She's a bit of a witch. You could say she's very heavily associated to magic, and it's interesting because Adam was just talking to his brother on video call right now about how I've been developing on magical based stuff recently, and how I've been doing lots of tarot reading recently. So you could say that he sees me as a little bit of a visionary, someone who creates exactly what it is they desire. So it's a go-getter, it's someone who believes in magic, it's somebody who works with magic and has all the tools that they need to create the world that they have. So as someone who is self-employed, I feel like I literally have to have all the tools I need to create the things that I want in life. She is number one. It's like the beginning of the entire suit in a way. So the potential of this person is massive because it could go anywhere. She could achieve anything. If you want to maybe think about all kinds of possibilities, you could also say I might have my head in the clouds a little bit because she is an illusionist. She's a bit of an illusionist, and you could read that as someone who kind of manipulates their own vision, sees things how they want to see them, sometimes even doing that to other people. The Magician can sometimes manipulate the way people think and see, like they create magic right in front of people's eyes. So maybe the way I create content or the things I teach about from his perspective could be something of an illusion because it's a faith, it's a belief at the end of the day. Does that make sense? But not going into too much detail of this because it's my own reading. So another tip for you, another thing that would be really helpful is to look at facial expressions. How does the person look? Are they calm, like the Temperance? Look how chilled out she is. You know, you come across as a very still, calm, cool, collected person. She is controlling a situation she's got in front of her quite well. She's very grounded. I mean, she's on earth and water, so maybe more so balanced is the word. An angel, I mean, that would be such a lovely card to get as feelings, like an angel. Are you kidding me? Or maybe it's quite the opposite and you pulled the Knight of Wands. Well, this is more like puppy dog energy. This is someone who can't sit still, who's here, there, everywhere, likes to travel. So as feelings, it's like, for starters, if you get a wand, if any of you pulled a wand, that's the card of passion. So there's definitely passion there, particularly if you pulled an Ace of Wands, because that's the, like, that I always imagine a flame sparking on a match. So that's a good start. For feelings, you do want to get wands or cups, I feel, depending on if they're positive or not. Because you can get some moderately negative wands. If you were to get the 5 of Wands, that could potentially be someone who's conflicted about how they feel about you. They're internally constantly questioning themselves, or maybe like second thinking it, and you know, they have lots of different opinions of you. And you could say the 5 of Cups might be a negative because, well, I was going to say because they could miss you. They are mourning you, grieving you, but then it depends. That might be something that you want someone to feel about you. Or they could just see you as a big raging emo. But yes, the Knight of Wands, there's passion there for sure, but it's like fiery this way, that way. It's not necessarily consistent. You don't know where it's going, but there's definitely like heightened feelings. so many that they're not really sure what to do with them. And you know, it depends what kind of card you would want to receive for a question like this. Me personally, as much as I love passion and like sex drive and like someone who's like sexually driven towards me and all this, that's great for like a little while, but like I want consistency. I want to know intentions, and I want grounded energy. Like I want to know for sure where that's going and like the long term kind of thing. And the 10 of Pentacles would be the perfect card for that, because this is long term, so long term that it runs in the family. It's almost like saying they want to make you part of their legacy. Like they want to bring you into the family, part of their like foundation. And you know, there's nothing temporary about this. This is the 10 of Pentacles. Pentacles is very tangible and solid, grounded, earthy vibes, and there's 10 of them, so it's the highest amount of earthy vibes. So the feelings, I wouldn't say are necessarily passionate and like sexy. It's more like secure and almost as though you're part of the furniture and you're there to stay. Does that make sense? Swords are an interesting one because swords are all about the mind and communication, which would be fine if you were to get something like the Ace of Swords, because to me that says they have a very clear idea, a clear positive idea on how they feel towards you. It's not an Ace of Cups, which would be a bit better in my opinion, because that's like so many positive feelings around you that they're almost flowing out of the cup, and like there's just love everywhere. Is there such thing as too much love? No. So I mean, it's not a soft card, but what you see is what you get a bit more. It's a bit more straightforward feelings. They're likely to communicate them to you. Obviously, Two of Cups would be a really lovely card to get. They might see themselves very similar to you, as this is a kind of, I always see this as a mirror image. Like, look how similar they look to each other. There's a peaceful energy around it as well. This will probably be, this and the Ace of Cups would probably be the best card you could possibly get for a question like this. Or the Page of Wands, if you're looking for something a little bit more sexual. I always see this as someone who's like staring at their you know what for the first time, because it's the page, it's the young personality type of Wands, aka passion. So I always see that's someone who's like maybe a little bit immature, or like experiencing love for the first time, or just feelings for the first time, or sexual passion. Some really nice, more so physical cards, like if you want somebody to see you as physically attractive or like feminine and sexy. And I'd quite like someone to see me as a Queen of Pentacles, for example. She's very nurturing, so she's quite motherly. She makes a house a home. The Empress as well, quite similarly to that. She is very feminine, very sexy and alluring, and like she's just one of the most appealing figures of the deck, I think. She knows how to be successful and powerful, and also still like soft as well. Like she's soft and firm, like she's firm but fair. I don't know. She's a very strong character. So you've got to also kind of just look at the general, if you have to, like read your tarot books, look online, what the general definition of a card can mean, because a lot of what tarot reading is basically translating it to make sense to the question that you've asked. So obviously with a card like Nine of Pentacles, for example, one of the biggest definitions that comes with this card is how she's independent. She is female independence. I always think of female independence when I look at her. That is one of the definitions, sure, but for some reason that definition really resonates every time I look at her, because she's just in her element. She doesn't need anybody else. She is almost, fine on her own. She gets by on her own. She loves her own company, and she's just kind of enjoying the finer things in life at the moment. She's having some peace and quiet to herself. So I would say that could be a mix of someone who has their shit together, somebody who has a lot of success in their life, so he or she might see you as someone who prefers the luxurious things in life, but maybe even someone who doesn't necessarily need somebody else, someone who seems content on their own. And that itself can give you some thoughts on maybe the way you're approaching this person. Like if you want things to work, if you want there to be a possibility of you guys working out, you could work on how you are coming across to this person so they can understand you properly. You know, without getting mad at them for getting the wrong end of the stick, perhaps you could be like, hey, maybe I need to have a softer approach, or maybe I need to have a firmer approach. Maybe I just need to tell them, maybe I need to be clear in my communication. Maybe, you know, like the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups, there are some more obvious cards that you can say you'd like to receive for a question like this. For example, the Lovers as well would be another one. There's a lot of love there. They might also be asking some big questions to themselves, asking themselves, do I move forward with this person? They know that making this choice of you is like a long-term decision, so it's deep, it's thorough. But there are some ones that you could see as potentially negative and be like, oh God, what could this mean? Such as the Devil. Every kind of feeling and attraction is okay and valid. Once again, it depends what you're looking for, what you're after, but if it's sexy time, if it's BDSM kind of bondage level stuff, and you get the Devil, and that's something that this person is into and you know that, or you're into and they know that, it could very likely be that. It could also be that they can't stop thinking about you. You have too much control in their mind, like they're not focused on much else. They might feel stuck to you. Maybe they have these feelings for you, but they don't want to have those feelings for you. That's when pulling more cards can give you a little bit more context. But at the end of the day, I would personally say just go with what your initial response is, like what your gut tells you. So if I turned this over and thought it was about sex, then I'm going to stick with it being about sex. If I feel like it's them trying to get over me and they can't, then I'm going to stick with it being that. I've asked this question before for somebody and I got the Star, and that was a reading I remember all the time because I just thought it was so nice. This would literally be someone seeing you as almost unapproachable. I know that sounds a bit negative, but like an actual celebrity status sort of star. So it's someone who could be in the public eye, someone who could feel quite unreachable to that person because they are like a star, they are like well known or something. And I just remember that feeling. That was like such a, I don't know, I felt very flattered. And it could just be that, you know, the Star card is the wish card. You're part of their wishes, and that's really sweet. Another little tip would be to look at what action they're doing. You know, are they moving? Are they walking? If they're lying in bed, if it's a very stagnant card, if it's low on energy, then you could say that maybe they are dwelling over it, thinking about it. They're not really sure, that they're having to assess and like work out what their feelings are, because I think sometimes we have to sort of process how we feel about someone. Maybe they're not entirely sure how they feel about you, they don't know you well enough yet, they're kind of working you out. I mean, the 10 of Wands is moving, she's got a lot of movement going on, but she's almost like determined to charge, but she's got a lot in her hands. So as feelings, you could say that someone sees you as a handful, maybe high maintenance, a lot of work. There could be heavy feelings, lots of them. It is Wands at the end of the day, so they could be holding a lot of passion there for you. I always tell myself, why this card and not the others? So before I fall into the trap of saying, well, it's 10 of Wands, that means 10 of passion, and they feel really passionate about me. Well, then why didn't the Ace of Wands come up then, which would be really, really passionate? It's like a fire to a flame, you know. Why didn't you get that one? Why instead did you get this one? Well, there's something to do with that person's feelings about you, which are a little bit of a burden to them for some reason. They might hold them down or back. It might be a bit more difficult and heavy than a clear and simple, you know, they find you sexy, hot. So then you've got to kind of think about what those things could be. Like, why is it a heavy hold on them? Maybe they've got a lot of other responsibilities going on in life and they're too busy to have to stop and act on those feelings they've got towards you. Something like the 3 of Cups is a fun card. What are they all doing? Their action is they're drinking, they're getting drunk, they're celebrating. So you could say they see you as a lot of fun. They want to hang out with you. They want to party with you. Their feelings are a little bit more light-hearted, you know. There's not a lot of deepness to the 3 of Cups, but you could just say they don't know you well enough to see you as someone who could potentially be more than just a party friend. So in the future, it might be fun to do a video of more of like a breakdown of individual cards if you would like me to do another one similar to this. But hopefully this activity can get your mind thinking and you can just experiment with that tarot brain muscle a little bit more and have fun with it. I'm actually okay if you guys want to leave what cards you got down there in the comment section. I'm okay to reply to a few of these and give you some help about how that can translate into feelings. So if you want to leave what card you received when you shuffled with me earlier on in this video, then I'll be sure to get back to a few of you. That might be a fun little thing we can do in the comment section. You can even help each other out if you see someone else's comment and you know what that could translate into for feelings. I'm gonna leave now. If you enjoyed this kind of video, then thumbs it up so I know and I make more similar to this. I'm on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. I have a Patreon. Thank you to my top patrons for supporting me to keep this channel afloat. Loads of love from my house to yours. Stay safe and I will see you for my next video. Bye.